And Mike, they've been going over those tires. In fact, the Goodyear tire you see that's going on a stack right now, the tire specialist, Keith Weiss, wrote Goodyear, check dismount, 88. Goodyear engineers just came over to check it. The tires look like they're fully inflated, Mike.
And Mike, one of the things that happens to these tires, they got an interliner inside of there, inside the outside tire. If you get that air pressure too low, that interliner will set in there and shake just a little bit. And I'm seeing a lot of cars that look like they got awfully low air pressure. I think that's where some of this vibration's coming from.
Yeah, you have to keep that interliner about 12 to 15 pounds minimum over air pressure than the outer tire.
Little audio from our pole sitter, Dale Earnhardt Jr. here.
I can't count on my one hand how many loose wheels I've had in Atlanta, and it's just weird. It happens here all the time. It's like this track and how rough it is, worn out it is, how soft the tire is. Just kind of works them loose more often than other tracks. I don't know. A lot of load here.
Well, Darryl, you talked about it. It's a 1.5 mile racetrack with a mile of corners. You better believe it's loaded a lot here.
You put more pressure on tires here than you probably do anywhere because of the speed you run, how hard you have to jerk on the wheel all the time, and then how fast you are through the corners.
Speaking of fast through the corners, speak about that 24 of Jeff Gordon right around Matt Kenseth. 5th place. 6th place now.
The thing about Atlanta is you got the front wheels trying to turn the cars. You got the rear wheels with 850 horsepower trying to push you straight. It's a pretty big battle that goes on in that race car all day long.
And then you got teams that bend the rear end to get the rear tires maybe pointing in a little different direction to overcome whatever else might be going on.
They're pushing the envelope on a lot of things.
These cars are all pretty yawed out, particularly on a track like this.
See Denny Hamlin right there in that 11 car chasing down Montoya. Denny, how much faster he was in the middle of the corner versus that 42 car.
But here's some good news. Talking to John Darby, when they go to the spoiler, he thinks they may be able to get rid, that the teams will want to get rid of that yaw because the rear spoiler will tighten the car up and you won't have to do it with the rear end housing.
Which very well may happen here in a couple of races when we go to Martinsville the week after Bristol.
Now, yaw is a term that comes from aeronautics. If a pilot's trying to fly the plane straight, but the back end is out to the right a little bit or out to the left because of air or whatever adjustments, the plane is in yaw. It's not flying exactly straight. Pitch is up and down, yaw is left and right. Here's your Toyota top performers, led by Denny Hamlin in 2nd. Marcus Ambrose was good in practice. 13th right now.
Little battle here between teammates. 48's caught the 24. Not surprising, the 48 is hugging the bottom. Pretty much that's his usual G2 on a track like this.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever saw the 48 up at the top even in those practice sessions yesterday, but he'll take that 6th position away from his teammate Jeff Gordon in the 24.
Kurt Busch, your leader by 1 second over Denny Hamlin, Juan Montoya, Casey Kane, and Matt Kenseth.
The Kobalt Tools 500 on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
There's Atlanta's original NASCAR track, Lakewood Speedway. Well, we had a lake, we had some woods, we built a 1 mile dirt track, and there are the modifieds getting ready to run in the 1950s. A lot of great races there before moving over here to Atlanta Motor Speedway, which opened in 1960. 190 laps to go in the Kobalt Tools 500 with Kurt Busch leading. Let's go downstairs for today's DirecTV head-to-head knockout pit whip.
Let's start out with Greg Biffle, whose great advantage is not engines under the hood or a good chassis. It is the pit crew. At California, the first 2 stops, they gained him 12 spots. In the last 2 stops here, they gained him 8. But maybe the best advantage they've got is that Mike Wright, one of the crew members a couple of weeks ago, found a horseshoe, and they have got it taped to the pit box, Steve.
Well, Dick, earlier we heard Matt Yoakum talking about these guys trying to manage their tires and how this track has picked up a resemblance to Darlington. Tony Tony Stewart in the 14 cars just told his crew, I've lost my forward bite. That's what I'm struggling with. He said we have to get the back of the car back into the racetrack. Krista?
Marcus Ambrose has gone from saying his car was good to great to no grip to way too loose. Lance Snack's on board. Doesn't have Lance in his pants, but he's hoping to have lead in his foot. He started 12th. He's running 13. Matt?
If you're a Kevin Harvick fan, things are starting to look on the positive side. Harvick's still running back in the 21st position, but he says we're not there yet. But we are making big headway. We are getting much closer. And the last stop, Gil Martin did a wedge and track bar adjustment. The car is still free on exit, but not as free as it was before when it was like black ice.
Thanks, folks. To learn more about the head-to-head knockout, visit directtv.com/NASCAR. We're getting ready to build our brackets. We'll give you a little hint, and that is that the first 4 finishers in last year's Sprint Cup will be the #1 seeds in each of the 4 corners of the bracket. So we're going to get ours together, get ready to make yours, and somebody could win $1 million.
It's time for a little bracket racing here, you know, with the NCAA tournament going on. Brackets there, brackets and racing.
But the thing about it, this is not fantasy racing. This is real drivers with real money on the line.
Just $1 million. Oh, shucks.
Matt Kenseth has fought his way into the top 5.
He's chasing down Casey Kane in that 9. Ever since Casey had that problem on pit road, he's kind of been marred back there about 4th to 6th.
Sometimes you pull the 17 good through the bottom of 3 and 4. Sometimes he's a little better than you.
A little bit of spotter information for Casey Kane. See Matt Kenseth all the way to the bottom there. Casey Kane right up against the wall through 1 and 2.
Keeping my next car to knock the wall down list, and at the top is Greg Biffle, and right behind him is Brian Vickers. Both of those drivers are right up on it. In fact, Biffle got right up into it in practice. Jeff Gordon has slid out of the top 10, Matt. He's in 12th.
He's faded to the back a little bit more there because they've lost the balance of this race car. This is recent conversation between the 4-time champ and Steve Letarte.
We're in big trouble. We're real loose. I'm just going to take care of our stuff and just pray it comes back to us and these other guys fall off.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's going to come back until they get to pit road and make some adjustments and get 4 fresh tires on that car. And we're still a good 25 laps away, 25 to 28 laps away from what will be green flag pit stops.
But see, Jeff Gordon's another one of those guys that the car could be terrible. It doesn't look terrible.
No.
Because he's just going to drive it right up there to where he feels comfortable, but no more.
Now, the track temp has changed since the start of the race. 1 degree.
Yeah, it's pretty overcast right now, so that changes things dramatically.
But I think a big thing also is the amount of rubber that's starting to get down on this racetrack as we're getting closer to halfway.
Yeah, when the cars run all over the place, so some high, some low, I mean, there isn't any groove. Like when you practice here, the high groove is really good because there's not a lot of rubber up there and a lot of grip. That goes away as the race wears on.
Denny Hamlin had gotten within 0.3 of a second of Kurt Busch, and now you see Busch starting to stretch it out again.
Saw that earlier. Yeah, I saw that earlier. You know, so I forget who it was caught up to him, and or Montoya caught up to him. He just kind of pulled off and left him. So he's driving a pretty smart race right now.
This is a battle for 8th between Tony Stewart and Greg Biffle. Tony keeps working his way up there. Of course, we got the report a while ago that he needs the back of the car back in the racetrack, has no forward bite under acceleration off the corner. But our old buddy Allmendinger, this is one of those days where you can say he's kind of a humdinger. He keeps moving into that top 10.
He has really had a strong race.
It's the color of the car. What do you call that? Avocado?
That's as close as I can get.
I like avocado.
I like that. Pea green doesn't sound.
No, I don't like that.
Avocado.
Here's Denny Hamlin. We just talked about him. Made that run up there to Kurt Busch. This is a battle for the lead. I just believe Denny Hamlin, that 11, Mike Ford, what they'd love to see is a really long run based on what we've seen for most of the race with this car.
Now, Kurt stretched it out a bit. Did Denny Hamlin cool off his tires and then say, okay, we'll make another run, or what do you think?
No, I think Kurt's car looks like it's got a little pushy loose. That time off turn 4, it was sideways a couple of times.
Yeah, he didn't get off turn